Yes, my name is Zohar Elkayam. I'm a Chief Product Engineering Architect at Aerospike. I've been with Aerospike since 2018, and before that I had 20 more years of database experience. The biggest mistake people do when they're choosing the database is choosing the database that they know rather than the database they actually need. Most people think about a database and then they think about what they already know, what they already did in a previous experience, but they don't actually think about what they need in this current specific use case. So what we tend to see a lot in a lot of the cases is customers choosing to do something familiar, something that is common to them, rather looking at the different variables and the different things like latency or speed or scale or reliability or consistency, and choosing the correct solution to their specific problem. And that's one of the biggest problems, because when they need to fix it later, when they need to go back and think about what they did and re-architect and refactor their solutions, that could be time-consuming, very costly, very problematic, very hard. So traditional web application had the focus of human interactability and usage of caches and in-memory information and data. And when we're talking about real-time system and agnostic AI, we're thinking about something that is more high throughput, low latency, real-time. They consume a lot of data, they need it at the right now. And because of that, they sometimes use solutions that do not befit them anymore. They need something that will be reliable, predictable, fast, scalable, and it is something that we see all the time. Aerospike, for that matter, was built for exactly that use case, the world of real-time, the world of low latency, the world of predictability and high throughput. From my perspective, when a CTO is looking at this kind of solution, they need to think about the future. They need to think about what they're doing for their current solution right now, but also where they're going to be in the next stage or in the next area and the next time that they're going to do that. And it's especially important, we're talking about AI applications and real-time application in general. Oh, that's an excellent question. So most of the customers, when they think about AI, they think this is my competitor is doing right now. This is what I need to do because other people are doing it. And sometimes when we look at it, we see that that's not valuable to their use case. They choose to do that just because everybody else is doing it. When there's a competitive advantage, where there's a place for the AI to be interacted into the system and integrated in a way that would make sense for the long term, this is where those solutions shine. When you integrate a graph database or vector solution just because somebody else is doing that, then you're going to have a really, really bad time. From looking from that perspective, everything that you do from that point onward would be a technological hurdle, which you don't want to be in. You need to focus on the thing that would make you most valuable, and if AI is one of those things, go for it. But if not, you'd probably think about other solutions in that regards. When it comes to database performance, predictability is the #1 factor. It's the standard of the industry that needs to be for everything related to low latency and high throughput. When you think about the average, you get into a dangerous place. When there's a competitive advantage, where there's a place for the AI to be interacted into the system and integrated in a way that would make sense for the long term, think about a pool where the average is 30 centimeters. You can drown at the high end in the deep waters. You need to think about the predictability and the P99 or even the P99.9 of things. You need to think about how to measure those numbers from your application side, from your database side, from the overall experience, because that is the thing that would make your life easier later. If you only measure the average case, then 50% of your customers are going to have worse than that latency. If you measure your P99, meaning the 99th percentile, then only 1% of the users can have that. The long tail of performance might be very problematic to some use cases, and again, this is the main focus for Aerospike, providing you with predictability at the long run, at the high end, at the P99.9 and further. The predictability cannot be reliant on memory, it cannot be relying on caches. It needs to be something that provides something that it would make sense from disk, from NVMEs, from storage, without being reliant on something that happened before, like cache misses or warming up caches into the memory. So when you're a startup and you're starting to build something and you need something for proof of concept or something that is just the beginning, using pre-made tools is totally fine. When you look at them for the long run, those have really strict abilities that will later limit you. They can be costly, they can be slow, they can be unreliable, they can be changing without your consent or without you knowing. So starting with those usually means that you can build something pretty quickly and get to the market pretty fast. But once you get into that comfortable place, you need to find a different way to handle things. And then you build your own solutions, then you go into a data platform, then you unify your solutions. You find ways to make your solution not the same like your competitors. You try to find ways to make it scalable, you try to find ways to make it faster, more valuable. It's all about value. At the end of the day, if your solution provides value nobody else can, and your solution is different because it's using different architecture or different infrastructure, then it makes more sense. At the end of the day, it's not a one solution, it's not one or the other. You need to be able to combine those. You need to be able to use the things that are common to solve common problems and to take things that are uncommon into the edge and use the right technologies for the right use case. I think AI is the one big accelerator for code and SREs and DevOps in tremendously accelerating work. But even then, people need to stay very mindful and specialize in their field when working with AI. It's like generating a picture with AI. You give it a prompt, you get a picture. It's not exactly what you looked for, it's not exactly what you imagined, but for the human eye, you immediately see that there's a problem. They can have 6 fingers, or they can have like a weird characteristics, or you didn't expect. The same goes when you are building code or you're analyzing your logs in that sense. You need to find ways to make expertise, to be critical of the response. You need to be able to ask why. Why did the AI give me that answer? Where did this answer derive from? What did I learn from that, and how can I make my solution better? Instead of using AI for generating and building and making stuff, use it to learn. You can still use it to generate code or solve your problem, but you need to be able to read it, understand, and manage AI to make it more sensible for you. When you build an agentic solution, when you use multiple agents and you feed one to another, you sometimes lose that capability. But if you keep that and you go to the long term, CTOs and developers and even newcomers, like beginners and juniors, can get into a really long places, a really good places, if they actually understand what's going on. From my perspective, AI is the way to be and the place to be and the way to go.